Hi guys, this is Matthias, and in today's video I'd like to talk to you guys about Bitcoin and why it is soaring as it has been doing for about a month now. Now, there are, I would say, two main reasons to why Bitcoin is going up as much as it's doing. And the one first main reason is because of the Bitcoin halving that is estimated to happen at some point in April. Um, there's no fixed date for this. It's based on the blocks that are being mined, so there are different estimations. The 18th of April was one estimation we find there, 24th of April is another, and we'll see whichever comes closest. There are plenty of different estimations, but it's probably going to happen sometime in April next year. Now, the other reason is because the big institutions are coming into Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, some of the bigger so-called layer ones being Ethereum and Solana mainly. Solana has been getting a lot of attention, and there's been a lot of money pumping into Solana, and I'll get to that as well. But basically, the biggest asset manager in the world called BlackRock and the leader Larry Fink, or the CEO Larry Fink, have basically made a 180 turn on Bitcoin. They used to be totally negative, totally, I don't know, bearish. They used to call it all kinds of negative words like scam, Ponzi, whatever. And as of recently, they've completely changed tone, and Larry Fink of BlackRock almost sounds like he's one of the biggest advocates for Bitcoin, calling it a flight to quality, the fact that people want to invest in Bitcoin. So now, to understand why Bitcoin has a value at all, this is something that is actually rather complicated to explain, and one of the main reasons for that is that Bitcoin counters or solves some of the problems, or a lot of the problems, with the traditional financial system that we have today. That's why it was created in 2008 or 9 in the financial crisis that we had back then. And in today's soaring inflation, we get reminded of why the properties of Bitcoin are so valuable. Now, its economy and financial systems, like even the ones that we use in a day-to-day life, it is complicated. It's boring. We don't want to talk about it, and we have our jobs, we get our paycheck, we pay our bills, buy our food, and we want to have some fun and do some interesting things in our lives. And we don't really want to bother knowing too much about economy, but what's been happening with the massive inflation that we see, with prices just going up, and our more and more people are having a harder and harder time just paying their daily or monthly expenses on their paychecks. More and more people are starting to realize that something is wrong, and more and more people are showing an interest in what you can do about this. And it is clear that there are some massive problems with the traditional financial system that we have today. And one of the explanations is that the US dollar, which is the current world currency, it's failing. It's falling apart. We see this with the massive money printing, and as much as this is something that, if we ever experience it, we only experience it once in our lifetime, because a world currency normally lasts for about 80 to 120 years. That's how long the British pound was the world currency, and before that, I don't know if it was the French and the Portuguese, Spanish, Netherlands. I'm not entirely sure the order, but a world currency normally lasts for about 100 years, some such, and when it fails basically for the same reasons, and that is exactly what we see with the US dollar today. That being said, the problems that the US dollar has is the same problems that basically all other currencies are having at the same time, but all other currencies are having it much worse. So this is what people have, more and more people are realizing, that Bitcoin is like a flight to safety, or as Larry Fink says it, a flight to quality, and that's why Bitcoin has become so popular. Now, why does the halving that I mentioned have any significance in this? Well, that's because the miners that secures the network and makes sure that there can be no counterfeiting, and that makes sure that all the transactions are going through, they are getting rewarded with each block that they mine. But for every 4 years or so, the block reward is being cut in half. And what that means is that the miners, they have to sell the Bitcoin that they mine in order to be able to continue mining, because they need to upgrade their mining rigs, they need to pay their bills, especially electricity, and yes, for that they need to sell Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is their only income. And that means that there is a natural selling pressure constantly. There's a constant amount of supply coming out on the market, and for as long as there is a demand to buy this, then it keeps the price up, or if the demand is increasing, then of course the price goes up even higher, which is what we've seen now for especially the last month. But the supply, the amount of Bitcoin that will be available for those people that want to buy it, is going to be cut in half at some point in April next year. And well, the natural phenomenon with supply and demand is that if the demand is the same but the supply is cut in half, well, the price is going up. But it's very likely that the demand is also going to increase while the supply is cut in half. And if that continues, then we might see an absolute skyrocketing in Bitcoin, something that we have seen in the past. So now, the biggest surprise, there are many surprises right now, but one of the biggest surprises, in my opinion, is that the big institutions have realized the value of Solana. There's a lot of institutional money coming into Solana, and it's important to understand that Solana and Bitcoin are designed and do completely different things. Bitcoin is basically turning into a store of value. It was originally, I guess, designed for payment, and it could probably go back to becoming payment again with the Lightning Network, but the traditional Bitcoin network is a bit too slow for that, and too expensive. But yeah, I'm not going to go into the Lightning Network. It's like a layer 2 on Bitcoin. It's very complicated. I've never used it myself, but that could turn Bitcoin back to a normal payment system, because it's going to be fast enough and cheap enough. But for now, it seems like Solana is one of the so-called layer 1s that could serve that purpose. Solana, on the other hand, is also described many times as a kind of, as a comparison, an operating system, similar to how you would look at Windows by Microsoft. It's a base layer that you can build dApps, or dApps. You basically, dApps is apps in a decentralized fashion. That's why I put a D in front of it when it comes to Web3. And Solana is extremely fast and extremely cheap. And when you have any kind of service that requires a lot of transactions, it needs to be just fast and cheap, which is partly why Visa has shown a lot of interest in Solana lately. Maybe Visa is going to use Solana in the near future, actually. So we will see about that. But yeah, I'm very bullish on Solana, as you probably already know. So Solana was actually up to $67, a little bit above that earlier. Now it's at $65. It's been absolutely soaring for about a month, and today another crypto that I'm interested in, Avalanche, is doing fantastic. Near Protocol up 10%. Polygon not so good. Matic, Polkadot is doing good. Radium is a DEX on Solana, and yeah, a lot of other different coins are going really, really well now. It's very important also to understand that nothing I'm saying here, of course, is financial advice. I should have said that from the very get-go. No financial advice here. But what's also important to understand here is nothing goes up like this forever. Like you're gonna see something, something like a pullback. Like if you look at Solana, for example, it would make perfect sense if Solana went down to $40, maybe take some support here, or even down to $30. If that happens, there's nothing strange about that because it's getting really, really overheated here. And maybe this is the beginning of a big upcoming bull run. We don't know, but we've seen these moves in the past. And cryptocurrency is very volatile. It's getting more and more stabilized, but it's still very volatile. So be very careful about it. And for the ones of you holding or getting into an asset like Solana, keep in mind it's very easy to get attached to it. It's easy to get emotional, start developing feelings like you actually start feeling almost like you fall in love with an asset like this. Keep in mind, Solana will never love you back. It's an asset, and it's very, very easy to be blindsided when you see something like this happening. It will come down. Nothing goes up forever. It will come down. When? Nobody knows. How much? Nobody knows. Will it go back again? And when will that happen? And how much? Nobody knows. You can look at it from a technical point of view if you want. I look at it mostly from a fundamental point of view. And I believe that Bitcoin, Solana, and at least 50 other crypto projects are gonna do really, really well in the next upcoming years. So yes, I'm not trying to give you financial advice or anything. This is just for entertainment and educational purposes. But yeah, now that this is happening, I want to share some of my thoughts about Bitcoin. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching.